Yes, you join me alongside the Mara River in Kenya, and we're really here to demonstrate the kind of thing that's at stake in Madrid. Now, the River Mara emerges from the foothills of the Mau forest to go on and flow through the Masai Mara Game Reserve and into the Serengeti National Park, and then it flows into Lake Victoria 200 kilometers away downstream. And the whole river basin is worth economically around $7 billion a year, from agriculture to tourism. It is a vital water supply for more than 1 million people, nearly 2 million head of cattle, and a spectacular array of wildlife. It's home to one of nature's greatest spectacles, the wildebeest migration. Man and animal rely on the River Mara flowing all the year round, and yet, like waterways around the world, it's in trouble because of climate change. Earlier this year, the river nearly disappeared completely in the dry season, and it's not for the first time in recent years. And in the wet season, rain is falling with more intensity. Recent floods in northern Kenya have killed 120 and displaced 18,000 people. Throw in deforestation, soil degradation and pollution, and you have a toxic mix. Well, earlier I spoke to Kevin GICHANGI from WWF, who runs a program to restore the Mara River basin.
You have to understand that the Mara River is the river that sustains the Mara Serengeti ecosystem. It's actually the only river that flows permanently. The other rivers are seasonal. So if the Mara River stops flowing, there will be a very big problem in the Mara Serengeti ecosystem. Some study tells us that the wildlife populations would crash to almost irreversible levels.
So we have 2 weeks of climate change talks going on now in Madrid. What do regions like this need to come from those talks?
I think the most important thing to come from those talks is a global commitment for mitigation, because there's very little we can do in Africa on mitigation, but we understand it's a global problem that needs to be handled at global level. And we also need to look at adaptation for, in the case of Africa, the communities around the Mara River Basin, to be able to cope with the effects of climate change. So I think the most important would be a multi-pronged approach, ensuring that we have better commitment for mitigation, and also ensuring that adaptation is done to ensure that we cushion our communities against the effects of climate change.
Well, in recent weeks, there's been an almost constant flow of science showing that we're not even close to doing what we need to do to reduce emissions and even stabilise the situation. That is the urgency of the position that climate delegations face in Madrid. And you would think that with the growing public recognition of the dangers ahead, that world leaders would do what is required. Madrid must build momentum, because in places like this, time is running out.